वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की fateh. There is a great African saying that if the lions fail to tell their story, then history will be written by the hunters. The hunt will always be glorified, and the mainstream will recognize the hunter. The fight of the lion will slowly become a fable. Until the lion's point of view is a part of history, the hunter's point of view will be the one that is counted. No one understands what it's like to be hunted, then only the hunter's feelings about what happened will be considered. If no one sees through the eyes of the lions, only the hunter will be thought of as right. Only the hunter will be heard. But those lions are the symbols of strength and courage and have been celebrated throughout history with these characteristics. Those lions are symbols for leadership and authority. Those lions represent strength, power, and ferocity. They represent wisdom, dignity, justice, honor, and dominion. Those lions have courage and have faith. Those lions stand tall and remember their birthright. Those lions hold their heads high, conducting themselves with dignity and grace. Those lions defend what is dear to them, and they defend it fiercely. The hunter will keep hunting. They will slaughter the lions, but those lions will come back again and again. Those lions will come back to protect their space and to protect what is precious to them. I'm humbled to be standing on this stage and in remembrance of those lions. I am not an expert, nor am I any type of leader. I stand and speak to you as an ordinary Sikh, born and raised in the UK, as a sevadar, as a volunteer from here in London, an individual who has been inspired over the last 11 years of attending this very remembrance rally. I was a child in 1984, but I remember vividly the inspirational images of that great Sant and the other Sikhs on the mainstream TV. I remember as a family watching every single news report on the BBC and ITV and about the events of Punjab, listening to what we were expected to hear, but deep down inside knowing that these Mahan Gursikh activists were those great lions that stood for the morals and ethics that were taught to us by our great gurus. The principles of fairness and justice, the ethics of freedom and sovereignty, the ideologies of spirituality and faith. It took another 20 years before I started to revisit the events of 1984. I came to this rally with my 2-year-old daughter and 3-month-old son in 2004 and encountered the huge emotion and truth behind 1984. I began to appreciate the real mass community feel towards the history before 1984 and after 1984, an emotion that even today we struggle to articulate properly, not just to the mainstream, but within our close circles too. I came back over the years and I prayed to Akal Purkh to help me translate this emotion, to understand this emotion, to understand what to do with this emotion. Were we meant to see 1984 through the eyes and the lens of the victims? Were we meant to recognize 1984 as a transition? Were we meant to learn from the stand of the Sant and the Gursikhs? How does a community recuperate from a genocide, from a period of insurgency? The Shaheeds gave their lives up to protect and honor the beautiful gem of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Sikhi, a gem that promotes spirituality, social mobility, and a political thought that the so-called world's largest democracy feared. The gem that promotes welfare, education, cohesion, fairness, and advancement. The gem that generations before gave their lives to protect and generations after will no doubt give their lives to protect. We can spend a lifetime standing on the sidelines, waiting for others to lead or waiting for others to do the right thing. But when those Sikhs stood for the sanctity of the Harmandir Sahib complex in 1984, they stood for the sanctity of every single Gurdwara everywhere in the world. And now that responsibility lies with us. When those Gursikhs relaid the foundation of Khalistan, they replanted the idea of strong governance and political independence laid down by the sixth Guru, a responsibility that lies with us today in the form of Gurdwara administration and Gurdwara governance. They showed us how to develop partnerships and fix the frameworks and systems that already existed. The Sant worked in partnership to implement the Anandpur resolution, not just for the social betterment of Punjab, but for India as a whole. And now the responsibility lies with all of us. Sikhs have excelled in commerce, education, and the medical field. We have superb examples of humanitarian, welfare, and other charity work. But we have fallen behind on developing the political arm. The Sikh manifesto was developed by like-minded Sikhs to engage assertively with political institutions and reinvigorate the activist ethos of our predecessors. We can point the fingers at others to mask our own individual lack of commitment. We can blame leadership, but ultimately, if it was not for the work of the Jathebandis over the last 31 years, we would have accepted the story of the hunter and not that of the lion. If we really want this remembrance rally to change our lives, then we need to understand that our Gurdwaras, our Sevas, our institutes, and our organizations need our commitment. 1984 was not meant to remain a slogan on a t-shirt. Thousands of lives were lost. Let's not forget how horrific it was, but the sacrifices were made for our future so that we could be an active part of it. No longer should we remain spectators and Facebook critics. We owe that huge sacrifice our commitment. We owe the victims of genocide our commitment to justice. We owe our Gurdwaras strong governance. We owe the political prisoners the glow of freedom. We owe our community better representation in political institutes. We owe those yearning for peace the right to spirituality. We owe the oppressed the right to sovereignty and self-governance. We are to become those dignified lions who show authority and can lead the way for others. So now, I ask, who really cares about the hunt or the hunter when the roar of the lion will narrate such a powerful story? Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.